Barack Obama as president. So after 8 years of the Obama presidency, the white folks retaliated against the political system by electing an outsider. Not only was Donald Trump not a quote unquote Republican, but he was outside of politics, but they elected him, and with the language, the behavior patterns that was all exposed, but they elected him anyway because they would rather have a man who would, in his campaign phrase, take America back to where it was great again. And the irony of that is the his companion that's running for Senate from Alabama, this guy Judge Moore, who just stated, I guess it was Wednesday or Thursday of this week, that America was great again back when their families was together, in slavery. So when white America enjoyed slavery, and what he should have said is from the end of slavery all the way up through 1965, during the period of the Jim Crow era of America, that's what they consider America being great. The white man on top enjoying all of the privileges of what the country's slogans are and keeping everybody else oppressed. But what we know is from the very beginning, these people, starting with the Pilgrims in 1619 or 1620, when they landed at Plymouth Rock to start what became the Massachusetts Bay Colony, and the fact that they almost died and were saved by the Native Americans. That's what their Thanksgiving holiday is supposed to be all about. But here are people who made a promise, gave their word of honor to these native peoples, all right, that in exchange for saving them, they would live in peace and harmony with them. But what did they do? Like a few years later, they imported blankets with smallpox on it to spread biological genocide against these native people to drive them off of their land. As they spread further and further west, they signed more and more treaties with the native people saying, okay, we'll draw the line here. These lands that you're on are yours until the end of time, and we're going to stay on this land. But every time they did that, they waited until they got more and more immigrants, built their armies up stronger, and they kept marching over the peoples that they had made these signed these treaties with, making a promise. So the Native American, in their history, the one thing that they know for sure that other immigrant peoples don't fully understand to this day. Now, we as black people should fully understand it. The Native Americans definitely understand it. But the white man really has no morals. He has no word that you can take anywhere seriously, except when he talks about death and destruction. But here's a man now in the presidency of the United States who represents all the lies, the backstabbing, the double dealing, the forked tongue speaking of the white man since he's been on this continent. So when I think about Donald J. Trump, I think he is a summation of 400 years of the Eurocentric peoples being on this continent, and the string of broken promises where they gave their word of honor. Just a string of broken promises they have made until they took this continent. They continued as the white man left Europe. In terms, there were peoples living where they were living all over the globe. But starting in the 1500s, who left their homeland to go out conquering the rest of the world until they could bring it under their control. And under their control is where they have the world today. The economic system that they developed controls the world. The leaders of the world, if you take, with the exception of the Chinese people, and to some extent with the exception of the people of India, you have complete white control of the globe, based on their values. And their values are take, control, accumulate wealth, and conquer people, and subordinate the rest of the world's people to their ideas. That's what I think of Donald J. Trump. He's a symbol, of the illness of the people of this land. He's a symbol of the illness of the men who created this country. Again, a lot of our people will talk about all of the wonderful words that's in their Constitution, that's in their Declaration of Independence. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, but they just meant all English men. They didn't mean all men, because as other immigrants came to the country, the Irish wasn't considered equal to the English when they came here. The Italians weren't considered equal to the English when they came here. I really hate to say it, but those segments of European populations knew that as they came to America, they found themselves subordinate to the English, who ran this country. Eventually, they have been able to assimilate into white America, but they had to do it in steps. Just like the white woman. When the white man said that all men are created equal, he definitely didn't mean to add women to that phrase. In fact, his woman didn't get anywhere near equality at all until relatively very recently. They got the right to vote during the 20th century, about what, I forgot which amendment it was that gave the white woman the right to vote. And then black women still had to struggle and fight to get the right to vote. Right now in Congress, these women on Capitol Hill are all exposing white men who've been doing what they've been doing their whole existence, sexually harassing their women. And now they're telling on them as such. But people are looking at this as if it's something brand new or as if they're surprised. But this has been the behavior of the white man here in Washington, D.C. during the entire entity of Washington, D.C.'s existence.